Have you ever looked at a credit card statement? It's like, I don't want to say what our analogy is like trying to learn Chinese. Like it's backwards, it's in a different language. I don't know. I never knew how to do this, and I still don't know how to read. It's called interchange that well. So yeah, nobody knows how to read it. So I feel like the most fair thing to do is instead of line iteming them all these things, just bundle them into one, get them a good rate, and say this is what it is. Because it's a lot easier to say you're at 3% or 3.5 or 2.5 flat. You don't have to worry about what kind of card you take, what the interchange rate is, what your monthlies are. Your monthly's $30 at 3% flat. It's done. It's solved.
Easy peasy.
It makes it easy for the merchant because then I don't have to explain that credit card statement for them, and they know exactly what their fee is on every card they take.
Welcome to the Cashflow Chronicles Open Forum. I'm Matt Allison, a commercial insurance advisor helping businesses protect their cash flow by managing risk and putting the right protections in place.
And I'm Brad Metzger, a commercial lender specializing in finance solutions. From lines of credit and term loans to real estate mortgages, I'm here to help businesses grow and stay flexible.
This podcast is a community-driven conversation for CFOs, finance leaders, and business owners who want real insight into cash flow, credit, and financial resilience.
We keep it practical, collaborative, and to the point.
Powerful finance conversations in under 40 minutes, built for busy professionals. This is the Cashflow Chronicles Open Forum.
Welcome again, everyone, to the Cashflow Chronicles Open Forum, featuring various industry leaders and well-connected individuals that make a difference in the business community here in Detroit. Happy to have John Kassa on. John.
Hello.
So, John, walk me through a little about your career, your history, and just what got you into the merchant processing industry.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. And my career is, I guess what got me into merchant processing was my family owned a grocery store, third generation. It had been around for 60 some years in White Lake, Michigan. And my dad had switched our credit card processing to PNC Bank. The woman came in, she was good looking, batted her eyes at him, and he was like, okay, I'll sign the dotted line. And I remember thinking like, okay, I don't even know what merchant services are, credit card processing. I just figured the money magically went back to Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. Long story short, her service was horrendous. And I remember like the day we were supposed to install the terminals, she didn't pick up her phone. I got like a UPS delivery and it drove me nuts, like just the worst service ever. From that day forward, it was called a 1-800 number. I'd have issues with those terminals and it didn't work. At the same time, we had a meat and produce distribution route. So at like the end of my day, would go deliver meat, produce to like the local bars and restaurants. And I just started to ask people like, who's your credit card processor? And they all were with PNC Bank with this particular woman. And most of them, not all of them. And they all had the same 3 pain points. Service is horrendous. I don't understand a credit card statement. I feel like I'm getting ripped off. And I don't know if I have the right solutions. So in my mind, I was like, ooh, light bulb. And so I'm like, this is pretty interesting. The guy that's the president of our company, he's a family friend. He was good friends with my sister. He was on my softball team. I said, I know you work for this company called Bravo. Can you like analyze my credit card statement? He was like, yeah, sure. Bring it to one of our games one day. And so I remember like, because we're all Chaldean and we all own some sort of business, I'm looking at a credit card statement. The whole dugout's like looking at my credit card statement. I'm like, bro, you're getting ripped off on your processing. Look at all those fees. And I was like, okay, I don't know I felt stupid. I'm like, I don't know what these guys are talking about. And so it ended up being like $4,000 a month in savings. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. And then I also started like to learn more that this is a pain point. I kind of like this. I think I can crusade and save all these people money that are having the same problems I'm having. And so I started to moonlight. I remember going to my dad and saying like, hey, I want to back away from the store. I'll open and close every weekend if I can sell credit card processing. I met with Randy's cousin, Elias, who was running our office at the time. And they were like, yeah, come on. It's a 1099 thing. They just hired me. You don't get paid. It was commission only. I liked the challenge. So I was like, okay, I can do this. And every single person was like, oh, that's a tough business, super competitive. You're never going to make it. So basically that was like, F you, I'm going to make this. And I literally started selling to all those bars and restaurants in the White Lake area, Milford, Waterford that we delivered to. And I had a lot of customers that owned businesses. And I'll tell you what, when you get into sales, you find out who your real friends are. Like, hey, that laundry service? Like, click. Like, oh man, like I thought everybody was just going to throw me their business. Definitely did not do that. So, for 2 years, I struggled just taking any business I could. And that's how I got into it. And I also worked at the grocery store and I sold credit card processing and I worked a ton. And transparently, we had another business. My brothers and I were involved in the marijuana industry. So I was doing that too. And I remember just putting in like 90 hours every week, like going from one job to another job to another job. And that's how I got into merchant services. So,
That's great.
yeah. And that's still why I do it to this day. When I like want to complain about something, like, oh, there's somebody getting ripped off, I can help them. So, because sometimes you think you're bigger than what you really are. You're like, I don't want that a client. He's too small. But I'm like, I remember I was that client at one point. So shut up and go take care of business. So,
That actually pivots to my next question. So you got talked about, I remember when we first met, there's a lot of people in that competitive industry, like you talked about, they get that sale and you never see them again, or you just go to 1-800 number, or they're no longer employed with this company. It's like, well, I trust this person because they sold me that bill of goods.
sure.
Is that a common thing you're seeing in the industry as far as selling something and contract signed? And
Are we talking about credit card processing specific?
yes,
Yeah. So it's an unregulated business. There's no restrictions really. So you see the fly by night people, as I call them, they think there's easy money in this. Transparently, we do well. I mean, you make a residual for life as long as you maintain the clients, but nobody talks about the beginning part. You got to get the clients first. So everybody thinks they're going to become rich. It's any job out there. You have to put the time in. So the big thing is, yes, people sign up, they get stuck to a 100 number, or they're with like a large company that has the different divisions. That works in my favor because then everybody will say, hey, I have bad service. Well, guess what? Here's a cell phone. There's like 400 people that have this direct number and they just text me and that's direct them to where I need to direct them to. So I like the fact that it's a tough business because it weeds out the weaklings, I guess. So
I kind of laugh because me being in commercial insurance and Brad in banking, the integrity in relationships.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nobody wants that 1-800 number unless you
no.
absolutely have to call it, right?
Right, you're calling India, some guy who doesn't speak English, nothing offensive to India. And it's, we need an answer now. And it could be just a quick answer. So when they text me, I'm like, hey, I'll get that done. I'll have your 1099 sent to you or banking changes filled this form. It's most solutions are so easy. It's just they don't want to take the time to go through the phone call, which I don't either. So I don't blame them. So
yeah.
Where do you think most companies are taking advantage of when it comes to fees or anything in that nature? When somebody's trying to sell a business, a merchant terminal,
well,
escalating fees or
uh,
fine print or something, all of a sudden, the
y-
promo period has ended.
yeah, a lot of companies have different strategies. I know that we do have fees. Like it costs money to have your account on file, your PCI compliance. Some people think it's just you're making all the money, but no, we get a percentage of that because that money's got to go back to Visa, Mastercard, American Express to Discover, or the issuing entity like U.S. Bank or whoever it is.
Mhm.
We make a fraction of that, so we have to have some fees. But I would say that there are people that the scummy thing to do is they set you up in a lease. Let's say the equipment costs anywhere from 200 to 500. The lease though is like $40 a month for 5 years. You're quadruple paying what you should be. So my motto has always been, and my partner's joke, like, man, because my residual will always be like, why did you give away so much equipment? Because everybody likes something for free. So if the equipment only costs $200 and I give it away for free, they're happy they got something for free. And what do I care? I have a client for life. So I would say that's the big thing. There is a contract like anything else, and there's an early termination fee. And a lot of people don't disclose what the early termination fee is. I just don't put it on there and there's no contract. Because if you leave, just give me back my equipment and that's it. So,
Sounds like something Xfinity does, right? Here, rent our modem
yeah.
and router. It's free, but it's not. But it's like, well, wait a minute. You start adding up, it doesn't add.
I was thinking
It's
the old
expensive.
cell phone model with contracts too. It's like you're locked into this contract because you got to pay out this phone. And shout out to T-Mobile because their CEO said we're the uncarrier. So they changed that whole model because contracts don't exist anymore, but you still have that payment plan for the phone.
But they split it, right? So you
Yeah.
have your monthly payment and that was smart.
Yeah.
So you should, if I want to pay my phone off faster, I can.
100%. I just call Verizon every month, like, hey, I see my bill went up $1, or how can we save money? Like, I will go through those 1-800 prompts to get that money. So, while most people are not.
I take advantage of the different competitive markets, to be
Yep.
honest.
Got to move your phone every 2 years.
Unless it's DTE or consumer, everything's negotiable. I'm sorry.
I am currently lost power for DTE. Thanks. Live in a tough area.
Yep. Yeah.
So you kind of talked about as far as transparency on the process. I think it's common. Let's say if we have fees, we're very transparent about the fees. It's like, hey, this is just a typical transactional fee. We want you to line by line, you break down something that can be confusing. Would you say the industry you work in is pretty confusing to most of your clients?
Have you ever looked at a credit card statement? It's like, I don't want to say what our analogy is like trying to learn Chinese. Like, it's backwards, it's in a different language. I don't know. I never knew how to do this, and I still don't know how to read. It's called interchange that well. So yeah, nobody knows how to read it. So I feel like the most fair thing to do is, instead of line iteming them all these things, just bundle them into one, get them a good rate, and say this is what it is. Because it's a lot easier to say you're at 3% or 3.5 or 2.5 flat. You don't have to worry about what kind of card you take, what the interchange rate is, what your monthlies are. Your monthly's $30 at 3% flat. It's done. It's solved.
Easy peasy.
It makes it easy for the merchant, because then I don't have to explain that credit card statement for them, and they know exactly what their fee is on every card they take. So
What's this miscellaneous charge that I have on this?
yeah, what's
That one? No, the one that
yeah,
that one.
debit, PIN debit, network fee, like, drives me nuts. I don't like the nickel and diming, and that's the thing a lot of companies do. They'll nickel and dime the little fees. Why? Just to make an extra nickel that month? I get it. If you have thousands of merchants and you charge them each a nickel, you'll make, whatever, but that's just scummy. So
So as you're trying to onboard a new customer, how do you build trust with a customer that had been burned in the past? That you're not you're not one of them.
that's a twofold question, because back in the day I was knocking on doors, and that was a hard obstacle because they looked at us all the same. So the best way I've learned to develop trust is to reference people that you're already doing business with that they know. If you and Matt are brothers and I do Matt's processing and I ask for the introduction to you, he's going to say, John's a good guy. He's transparent. He's honest. He answers his phone. That gives you a sense of ease to say, okay, great. I'll take a chance to do business with him. When you knock on a door, you have to say, well, I do Susie's across the street. Go ask her, because small towns talk, people talk in the same industries. You have to develop trust somewhere initially and then use it as a reference guide. I would probably say it's the best way to do that.
I think that's an excellent pivot into that lovely banner you have on your.
Yay, DEA, Detroit Executives.
So you're the president of the Detroit Executives Association now, and how long have you been involved with that organization?
I joined in April of 22. I was brought there in 2018. I did not see the value in it at that point. As I told you, I was doing a plethora of other things. I always looked at credit card processing as page 2 of the priority list, right? Like, I know I'm getting overcharged, but I don't really want to switch. It's a pain in the butt. So I'm like, instead of complaining about that, I was like, I got to find different clients. I'm not going after the small client anymore who doesn't value me, and I will, but I need to find people that are like CEOs, CFOs, decision makers, who are like, I want to save money. I want a better solution. Detroit Executives, the guy that brought me in, his name is Chris Angolia. Shout out to Chris. He owns Comprehensive Payroll. And I coached his son in basketball at St. Fabian. Great guy. And he said, just come check this out again. So I went and I said, these are all decision makers, and the trust piece we talked about, they're going to see me weekly. They're going to understand that I have the right mission statement, and then they're going to take what I do seriously. And that's why I got involved. So I got involved in 22. I kind of, like you do in anything, I'm real quiet. I observed. And then I decided in like 23, I saw what happened and where they were at from COVID. They kind of got decimated from COVID. And I put a private strat. I'm very strategic. And I was like, all right, I know we can make this group amazing again. And my crazy little mind started like working about like how we're going to do that. So
Yeah, because you were on the board and progressed up the ladder, correct?
I mean, if I'm going to be transparent, they had like 35 to 40 members. They could never break 40. Their attendance was good. Some people had classified it as like the good old boys club. There was like 2 women in it. And so I saw a lot of potential, because I was like, oh, back in the day, this made my business. And there used to be 60 members. So I was like, okay, we can do this again. So they never brought guests at first. Remember, like 3 guests were brought. And I'm like, why aren't we bringing guests? So the next year I started bringing a lot of guests. And I was bringing the wrong guests, though. I wasn't like vetting my guests well. And then I said, all right, I can do this. So the next year I just started bringing like the right type of guests. And I think we went from like 35 to 45 members or something like that. And then I got a membership and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. So I got on the board. I got a membership 3 years ago. I'm like, I'm going to grow this. I'm going to bring women. I'm going to bring diversity, which unfortunately I failed at that one, but I'm going to bring women in this group and I'm going to grow this number. My numbers were 50, 70, and 90. I still have that sheet. And I think right now we're at like 72 members, but those were my strategic plans. And I use this platform for everybody like me that was missing like one piece in their business or their personal life. Like you're successful, but maybe you're not confident in something. Maybe you need to grow your business somewhere. And that's what I did. And I was just selling something that was valuable. And I'm not, I just wanted to create a good culture. So it's not me. It was me trying to create the culture to grow this and to get everybody on board. So
Because it's not you having to try to find all the guests or, to bring in. What do you want to see? Who do you want to hear from? And you get the ideas.
yes. Well, and there was a woman, her name is Andrea Yipe. She owns a business called Cabinetry by Better Built, and she would stand up every week. So we do like leads and acknowledgments, who you're giving business to and who you're receiving business from. And every week I would hear this poor girl say, doing business with XYZ. We'll go through like 10 and like, no new business. And I was like, dang. Like the next week she'd say the same thing. So I'm like, who can I bring in that will get her business? What referral partners? And her and I have talked about this. Like, all right, she owns a kitchen and bath place. She needs a flooring company, a cabinet company, an architect, a designer. So the first people I went after were those people so I could add to her puzzle. And then once I completed that puzzle, I went to like the next puzzle. So I wasn't even bringing in people to benefit me per se. I was people that bring in other members, but to create, just a good, I don't know what the word would be, just an interaction for everybody where they want to be part of something. So
That's where Matt and I kind of talk about is one of the things that we really enjoyed doing the podcast for was connections. And it's like, who do you want to talk to? Well, I'm looking to get into this area, or I want to talk to this person. And it excites us and everybody else that we deal with that kind of says, hey, thanks for making that intro. And it's like, you know, introduce the two and, you two take it from there. I mean, you can attest to this. It makes you warm and happy inside.
It's just funny. It's like, hey, that person sounded so amazing. I got to talk to them. They know their stuff. I'm like, do you want an intro? Like, yeah, they are super sharp. And you just do it and they're like, oh, they're so sharp. I think that's the joy about business is just when you can make intros that didn't happen before. And John, I think you speak to that even helping us out as well, just leveraging your network to work in our favor.
I love making connections where I suffer, and I'm not saying this. I'd make a lot of connections. So Matt makes a nice connection, like Wayne to meet John. He's a great guy doing this, this, and this. My connection is like Matt, me, Jason, Jason, me, Matt. Take it from here. Bye, guys. Like that's my email. It's so informal, but like I have the right intention. Just I'm not good with words. So just you guys take it from there. And I know that you guys will connect well. I just want to make the introduction so I can move on.
I've actually got that too. It's like, hey, I've talked about each of
Yeah.
you to each other. Take it from
Yep.
here.
You know him. You know him. We're done.
But it's
Yeah.
like, look, you've talked both of them up
Yeah.
already.
I can massage you if you'd like, but just make the connection so we can move on in life. Yeah.
And still, I don't want to understate what you do. So just you can speak for yourself. Yeah, I mean, I think if you just have two high integrity people, they're all adults, but maybe we can facilitate that. That is pretty funny though, because how do you make an intro without like
Yeah. Some people are wonderful, and then I see AI intro like they're using these amazing words. I'm like, yeah, I know you did not write that, but mine are just like, take it from here. I know we have the right intentions, and we talked about this. You guys both wanted to. It's a good fit, or guys or girls when I reference that. But yeah, so
yeah, it's funny with the world of AI. Now it's like, did someone actually really write that? Even LinkedIn in general, you ever see like the LinkedIn titles versus like,
yeah, they're amazing,
yes. I saw one for Dan Campbell, like what his real job is and what his LinkedIn job is.
Oh,
right? Yeah, 100%. I don't know about you guys. I have not fully adopted the AI model, and I also feel like I wasted my time to go to school and learn how to write and read, and I may not be the best linguist, but I'm original. So when I write something or my posts, it's not fancy, but it's definitely me. So
I think that's I told Brad about this too. It's like people just want a connection, and in a world where there's lack of authenticity. Like that's kind of was the why this podcast even started, just getting people to talk, be casual and spread it out across the board so you can know who they are versus John Kassa. I can't talk to John Kassa because he's this person. But at the same time, they can see who you are as a person. You're just willing to help. And it's still respecting their boundaries, of course. But
yeah, and I'm definitely cocky, but I'm humble. I will talk to anybody because we all started somewhere. Everybody needs some sort of help or mentorship. I wish I knew what I knew now, 5 years ago. So if I can provide that advice for you, then that makes me feel good and it helps you out. So it's a win-win.
They have to want and ask for that help. That's
Oh,
the biggest.
I'm not going out of my way for free advice. So I'm not like sitting on a corner with a box like, "Hey, who wants free advice?" No.
Or
I, there's a organization that the way I give back is Oakland University's got a program called Achieve. Have you guys ever heard of it? It's mentorship for their graduates or graduating students. It really applies to like juniors and seniors, and it's through the College of Business and like lifestyle. And so we do mock interviews, we do networking events, and I enjoy that because they want the help. I can mentor them a little bit. I can give them advice of what I would do if this was my career, whether they're going into fashion or accounting or whatever. And really, how does it play on your personality strengths? Because most of us, oh, I got to be a lawyer or I got to be an accountant. Like, you hate sitting by yourself. Why would you be an accountant? That just sounds like death, right now. So that's the mentorship I like because I can get to someone like I was a bad college student. I wish somebody would advise me back then, and I didn't have that person to turn to.
Yeah, Northwood has a financial leadership conference that I went to, and what it is we get a bunch of people in the industry, alumni, and do kind of a round table. They do a 4-person panel. They talk about what they do. So again, they can, I'm in finance, but like what
Mhm.
I do with my degree, and then you have alumni that they do rotations. It's like, oh, so what do you do? Because I think that was one of the things I was missing when I was in college was, okay, I have an accounting degree, that's a little bit more. But if I had a finance degree, I could do a lot of different things. Like what jobs are out there? And I think that with
History.
right. See,
What do you do with that? So,
but it gives them the opportunity of like, okay, I'm getting this degree. What can I do with it?
sure.
And it what's out there, what jobs are out there. And I think that both of what we've done is it gives us the opportunity to kind of talk to them of what do I do when I get out of college? Like, I have a finance degree, great, but
Yeah.
what jobs are out there?
Well, yeah, and what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and how can those play into the career path that you're looking for potentially? So,
yeah, it's because I mentor these high school students, and it's interesting because my perception of the world from the battle scars that we all have been through with our life, getting your butt kicked or so be it, different sales jobs, just how wide-eyed they are, and it's great to see the ambition they have, and at the same time, you kinda say, "Hey, let's build a pathway that's realistic, you can understand what the potential is if you
well,
were man up to be a kid," but
you're brave because high school students is definitely a different venue than college students, and yeah, that's
well, these are unique kids, but at the same
okay.
time, I think college, because they're more career oriented, you're just trying to teach them good skills.
Yeah.
How do you how do you build best practices? Like we just talked about the phone going away senior year in high school. They're like, it's the worst. I'm like, but this is beneficial for you to your point about anti-technology and use critical thinking skills.
Well, I believe in technology, and I think that every year is, we're older, so what we think is different. And I hate when people are like, I'm Gen X, we're the greatest. I think the phone is valuable, but when you're younger, you don't make smart decisions, so you don't know when to put the thing away. I have 2 teenagers, and one of them is like glued to this thing all the time, and I just want to rip it out of her hand and throw it. If she was an adult, she would understand like there's a time and a place for it, kind of like writing with AI or any of that. So most people are not using technology for what it's intended for. They're abusing it. So this is my thought.
No, I think that's a great because you still have a brain that's forming and can you develop those critical thinking skills And even as an adult, you still can be addicted to the phone unless you put it down.
I'm not gonna lie, I like scrolling through Instagram, like, before I go to bed. It's like my comfort zone. It's amazing. Last hour, I'm like, "Oh, look at this stupid video of this guy working out." Like, great, you know? So,
Why didn't I sleep well last
yeah,
night? Oh,
good, better, best. Alright. I incorporate that into my sleep schedule that I can scroll through social media for 1 hour before bed.
The screen go blank.
Yeah,
Right? Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
how many people do you message random thing on Instagram? Do you ever share the
I have a close friend, and him and I send we were previous degenerates, so all the degenerate clips of, like, drinking and drugs where I was like, "Ah," and then I have, like, family members that I send stuff to. So,
I have a group of like 4 people like, "Dude, stop." I'm like,
yeah.
"You're so good." They're immature.
We do the Chap my brother and I, we were talking about Chappelle before this, and so we'll send the Chappelle clips back and forth to each other, and that's yeah,
That's funny. I mean, it's great. It's just because it's an escape from reality.
100%.
So, real quick, as far as being in a leader type role with the DEA, and even I feel like you're a leader in the community as well, given the time spent being a successful business person. What does that mean to you, and what does that look like on a high level?
It's
It's a tough question.
it's I would say, first and foremost, it takes me back to my father, my grandfather, my mother, and her parents because they're Chaldean immigrants. My grandparents were not my parents were born here, but like in our house, you worked your butt off. Like we worked every day. We went to that grocery store. We worked at home. So if you're going to be a leader, in my opinion, you have to lead by example and hard work. Like I cannot stand lazy people or being lazy. So that's number one. What I started to do when you get into credit card processing, as I said, I was doing sales in the beginning, knocking on doors. I wouldn't say that was leadership, but when you start to become involved in organizations, you see the people that are on top and what are their habits. Like I always want to be the dumbest guy in the room or the most in shape person because those are people I want to learn from and grow from, and they're all have the same habits. So being a leader, in my opinion, is always being consistent and being disciplined because that is what makes true leaders leaders when they don't indulge in the things that they could. And so that's how I want to model my life. I want to give back and I just want to continue to grow and learn. And that's what leaders do, I think, staying uncomfortable.
I think practicing what you preach. You say these are the ways to success, then you just contradict everything you do when you're given into temptation or different things, whether it be a snack. You're like, oh, we're going to achieve this health goal or whatever. And
But that was the thing that was always missing, and I'm not trying to bring this up, but, you know, I used to see everybody that was a successful leader, and they valued their body and, like, their mind. I before I joined the DEA, I'll say this about the Detroit executives, I wasn't reading books, I was way out of shape, I was always stressed, I was, like, chasing the wrong thing, and I'm not saying it's all credit to that, but just learning how successful people operate. I read every day now, I try to better myself. You know, I've gone to therapy, business coaches. I've lost 70 pounds. Like, you have to be the complete package if you want to be respected, or no one's going to respect you. You can't be the fat trainer saying like, "Hey, you need to lose weight. This is what you do." But like, you're not in shape, so why would I listen to you? So that's just built over time, right? Like,
yeah,
just consistency over time. So
yeah, that's so critical. I think just what you take home is carried into your workplace as well. Just in general, your habits and different practices that, and it's a constant making that shift. You have to be intentional with it. And it's habits are habits.
habits are habits, and everybody has them. Kind of, we just joked about the phone. Are they good habits or bad habits? I would say 20 years ago and even 10 years ago, most of my habits were bad. And I was always upset with myself for something because I always wanted to be better, but I really could never follow through with it. I wasn't consistent and I'd only be disciplined for a month or two. When you realize that life is an infinite game and there's no end to losing weight and there's no end to being a leader or reading. It's like this is going to go on forever. And then now you feel like you're just this boring person, but you feel better because oh yeah, I'm not going out and getting drunk on a Tuesday, even though that sounds amazing, but does it really sound amazing anymore? Like, no, it doesn't. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was the conversation I had previously off camera. So diving back into the whole business context, the financial impact of integrity, both in like within the DEA as far as like your impact in the community and with your business.
Honestly, I would say just providing value, DEA. I'm part of Interior Design Society, the Achieve, Vistage. I do a lot of organizations. It's all about giving back to my customers for Bravo, for all my merchant services. And it's about giving back to the organizations I'm part of. You're not bigger than these organizations. They've been there before you, they're going to be there after. How can you be impactful? I don't know if this is really the answer you're looking for, but I have to be able to give back. And that's my value.
I think that does resonate because when you give, like, the financial benefits take care of themselves, in my opinion. You're not chasing the financials.
No, people want to do business with you because they see like, wow, this guy gives a lot and he provides value. He's a man of his word. He's a stand-up person. And almost like I was talking about that page for the priority list. People call me like, hey, I had a call from somebody that I would have never expected a call from. Hey, I'm the CEO of this company. I want you to talk to my CFO about credit card processing. I was like, wow. And there was a guy that I look up to that I has kind of helped mentor me. He lost a role that he was applying for. I don't want to get too deep into his details. And he called me for advice. This was about 3 months ago. And I was like, man, I look up to this guy. I know I'm doing something right if he's calling me for advice. And it wasn't an ego thing. It just made me feel really good that somebody I look up to is now, looking up to me. And then I was like, I got to get a new group. No, I'm just kidding. But you're doing something right financially when people are calling you for business or making those referrals because they trust you.
Yeah.
So
You always talk about creating like a billboard for your brand and things like that. And what does your brand stand for? Is it you're a good guy, or is it like I'm a connector? It's always an interesting.
I would say I'm probably a connector. And am I a good guy? That's a loaded question. I think I'm trying to be a better person. I don't think I always was the best person, but I believe that I enjoy connecting. And if I look at the history of who I've been, I've always been kind of like a chameleon that could like go into different groups or organizations and kind of fit in. And so if I can bring them together, I think there's a quality there. Or like, hey, like we were talking about making introductions. I know that there's synergies. How do I bring them together to make both organizations or something better? So my brand would be probably connecting and just giving.
So let's jump back into the merchant stuff. So what do you think it'll be in the next maybe 3 to 5 years? But also, where's crypto coming into with the merchant side, if at all?
I don't see crypto in the merchant side at all. Where I see this going is ERP systems like software and hardware specifically for specific industries. Like we'll just use kitchen and bath because we're a big part of it. Now they have industry specific software. Well, what they are now is they partner with the credit card processor and they don't allow you to integrate into their system. I'm starting to see more and more industries do this. And so it kind of limits who I can approach. Unfortunately, what they're doing is saying like, well, you can use our software, but we're going to charge you on the back end of credit card processing, and that's how we're going to make money. And merchants are just going to say, I know I could save money with you, but the solution is all in one, and I'm just going to stay with it. So my mind and with my partners, I discuss is how do we navigate this? Do we develop something on our own? Do we become niche where we're only in one industry? We have a solution for that, or do we continue to be outliers where we're just finding who's left in that battlefield? So,
That is interesting. They're having like an industry specific solution. Would you say that came from just the pain points in the industry?
well, there's profit in credit card processing. But if you want someone to use your gear or stuff and you give it to them for free, how do you make money? You make money in the back. I'm partnering with a credit card processor that's going to give you 50% of the deals. Luckily, we actually have a couple of those deals and we split the profit with that same system in different industries. But, if I'm not the lucky guy to get that deal, then I'm SOL.
Yeah. A lot of really good information on this because I think it's something that they just complain about the fees with their credit cards. And it's like,
They always go off.
Yeah, and they complain about them with those ERP systems or the integrated processing, but that's when they're really handcuffed. Unless they want to give up their whole point of sale, which they're not doing, then they're stuck paying those fees. You don't go back. QuickBooks was a big one. Everybody uses QuickBooks. QuickBooks has a partnership with a company called Intuit, which is a credit card processor. They split it and they make it, for many years, they had a monopoly. Everybody used QuickBooks, had to use Intuit. Thankfully, now we can integrate and bypass Intuit with, gateway tools that we have. So you're not stuck using Intuit when you have QuickBooks. But before, that was my biggest complaint. Oh my gosh, I'm getting charged on my ACH a full percent. My credit card processing is anywhere up to 5% plus a transaction fee, plus the monthlies are hundreds of dollars. Now we can just bypass all of that. So luckily we have that tool, but that's not for every industry. So, and you're right. Once they have you, they got you, right? You're not leaving. It's just too much work to go to another accounting software or another CRM system. It's too much.
It's expensive, transitions,
The
yeah.
training.
Well, it goes back to, we got burned last time, and do you remember what we went through last time when we did this, and we want to put ourselves through this again? And every month we have this unreconcilable difference that continues to carry over. Like,
Absolutely. Well,
I don't, we're just going to stay with it, and
Just embrace the
yeah.
pain, basically.
Well,
It's reality.
what you guys said earlier too, you have to be transparent. Like when I onboard a customer, these are your fees. This is what you're going to pay. This is the time expectancy. Let's do a follow up in 2 weeks to iron out your pain points because you're going to have some, right? They're there when you onboard a new system. It's a lot easier than it used to be, but there's still some challenges with employees or inventory or whatever there may be. But that's why you got to stay on them. And honestly, in the credit card processing industry, after 6 months, you don't hear from people for years. No news is good news in our industry. And I almost have to call them like, is everything okay? Like, yeah, we're great. What do you want? Like, oh, okay. So,
but it's, building the relationships, and I think follow up.
percent.
Build something. Here's the install day. Call them 2 days before. Call them the day before. Call them the day of, and just following through. And I think again, AI is great, but again, that person is going to be able to help you instead of a bot on a website.
Well, and do you guys feel too, you're salespeople, we're all salespeople of sorts. The biggest thing with salespeople is they're scared to deliver bad news. Like, I'm just going to give you the news straight up. And I'm not saying it's bad news, but not everything that you tell your client is, a 100% home run. So you have to say, like, this onboarding is going to take a week. There might be some problems. You didn't get your deposit. All right, let me figure it out instead of I'm going to ghost you and not pick it up because I don't want to tell you that I messed up somewhere. Like, just be transparent.
I think that speaks to experience in the business
It
development.
does. Yeah.
People know things happen, mistakes happen. If you're honest with it, and a lot of people acknowledge that, hey, I appreciate being real with me. And then you're going to have someone that's lesser experienced in their career. Yeah, we can do that. They promise the world. And you're like,
Overpromise, underdeliver.
My biggest thing is when I talk to a customer, it's like, here's what I expect will happen. Nobody likes surprises.
And we've all had good clients and bad clients, and some clients, like you said, I understand, no problem. I'll get that to you. And I've had people cuss me out over something so dumb. And now I'm lucky to say, like, do I really want to do business with this person?
Right.
So,
and there are times it's like, listen, I want to help you, but it might not be a fit right now just for various things that you're not giving me the proper paperwork I need on time. And you're calling me 3 times a day about something. You never sent me that email. I'm like, yes, I sent you 3 emails.
Well,
That's an extreme example.
it's
But
a partnership. If you want a service to be done, I need the following items, but it goes both ways.
well, and that's something too that you have to navigate through in sales is you have to be able to know how to talk to people. Are they emailers? Are they phone callers? Are they texters? And some people are, I see a younger generation wants to hide behind the computer and just send emails. Pick up the phone and call them and you'll get that answer directly and they appreciate it a little bit more. And that can go even to the sales process as well. But everybody wants to hide behind the email. Text me, I don't care. Like we'll get this solved, but communicate in some form or fashion.
I was talking with Brad about this too. It's like we can have a Teams call, but I'll just drop in and say hi to you in the business with respect to time. It's like, you do that. I talked to someone. It's like, you do that? I'm like, well, yeah, of course. Because I want to see your business and I want to understand how you operate. Face-to-face interaction or even phone call conversations means so much more.
I've had customers on multiple occasions, they call me with a problem. We figure the problem out, and they end the call with, thanks for picking up the phone. I'm like, who isn't picking up the phone? Like, if you're in sales, it's like the number one rule, pick the phone.
Well, it goes back to that 1-800 number that they have to call because you're not answering. So,
I'm not used to having good service. It's
right.
pretty much what that screamed out.
Yeah,
I was
Doing something right is was how I described it.
that's awesome.
I was telling a buddy of mine today. I was out for happy hour with a few buddies, and I got like 3 phone calls at like 6:30. They're like, "Dude, your phone always rings," and I'm like, it's kind of the
It's the
standard.
life we're in.
Yeah, I'm just like, and I said, "Hey, I can't talk right now. Can I call later? Is anything pressing?" And then I would answer right away. But and they're in the industry too. It's like, dude, your phone always rings, and I'm like, I'm willing to help.
Well, as you were all seasoned, you do learn too. Like back in the day when your phone used to ring and you were out with your buddy, you'd probably answer that phone call. And that's why I like the text because I can respond and say, "Is everything okay? Do you need something right now?" Like, "Oh, we just need this or whatever." And then you can get it done. You realize it's not a kitchen fire and you can take care of it the next day.
As long as you acknowledge that they appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
working on something. I'll get back to you in 2 days. Is it urgent?
I'll text them back. "I'm at the bar. What do you want?" Like, "Is this important?" Like, "No. All right, cool. I'll call you in the morning."
And people appreciate that too.
Yep. They think it's funny.
You're honest.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 2 whiskeys deep.
I,
I'm not too appropriate.
I had a guy call me this morning. Actually, I got a late start this morning. I was at the gym and he was like calling me twice. I'm like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "I need to talk to you." I like took a picture of me flexing and sent it to him. And I'm like, "Can it wait?" And he's like, "Dude, you're such a douchebag." Like, yep. It's pretty funny.
But you're being a human.
I appreciate the honesty, I think.
Yeah. Best conversations I have is when I'm walking my dog and she's pulling me or barks, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, my dog's just has to get her dog walk in," and they call me when I'm walking her, but still, you're just being authentic.
Sure.
What's one step that you think merchants should take when they look at their servicer to be objective as they analyze what's the best solution for them?
Sure. So for credit card processing, from my experience, it's always boiled down to three things. It's your service, your pricing, and your solutions. So if I'm a merchant, I'm thinking about credit card processing. Do one of those three pain points speak to me, right? Do I feel like I have a good deal? Do I feel like I'm being overcharged? Do I have good service or am I stuck calling that 1-800 number? Do I have a point of contact? And then the solutions piece kind of comes later, but we talked about maybe there's a gateway. A lot of times I'll find merchants that are like punching in numbers into a terminal. And we're like, nobody ever comes here. Why do you even have a terminal? You can invoice, you can attach to your website. There's one time payments, there's reoccurring. So if you feel just like there's a pain point that you have, that's when you should just start looking at it and it doesn't have to be like I'm gonna scorch earth and leave. It's just let me get educated. Any credit card processor, whether it's me or anybody else, they're gonna educate you for free because they want your business. And then from there, you decide is it the right time to make the switch or not. So you got to have a pain point, or if you don't have a pain, there's no reason to make a move. So
Yeah, that's great insight. It's because working in the industry. Yeah, I guess the closing piece, final question is what gives you optimism just to speak to the business community here in Detroit in general about yourself, about bringing integrity to the industry and within your community with the recent changes you had talked about and things?
sure, that's a good question. You know, Detroit's a relatively small town, as big as it is. And when you go out, you see a lot. I guess it goes back to the consistency piece. You know, there's been a lot of times over the last 5 years I have not wanted to go somewhere and sacrifice. This is a job. And it's a job that I enjoy. And if I can go to another networking event or bring people together, that's that's what's driving me. So when I don't want to go to this event later or tomorrow, I go because you never know who you're going to meet and who are you going to be able to connect and what organization does that lead you to? They're all breadcrumbs that take you to the next stop. And if you think like, well, I went to this today, I'm good, or I've closed enough deals this month, then you're wrong. Like you have to continue to want to be successful, to strive and stay in that uncomfortable space always because by staying uncomfortable you're always going to be driven. When you get comfortable, you get lazy, you get complacent, and then you stop making introductions, you stop being part of the organizations, you're less seen. Like you just always have to be on, and when you are, that's when you thrive. So I don't know if that answers that, but I stay positive for those reasons because I know that this is my life. I got to provide. I want to do this. So
I think just being active and being in the community is the biggest thing. And I think that speaks to both of us.
I love the Detroit community. Everybody in Detroit, and this is the thing, I love the Midwest, especially Detroit, is what you see is what you get. Everybody's primarily friendly. We all have our own personalities. I've been out west to work. I've been out east. We're not so direct that we're a-holes. We're not so flaky where we're full of what. Like what you see is what you get in Metro Detroit, and everybody seems genuine to want to help. There's always those people that are not, but then you just avoid them and you don't do business with them, and you definitely don't connect them. So
And the reputation spreads quickly.
it does. So
Which, not to go down that rampage, but just take care of people and putting your effort to help wherever you can. I think it goes a long ways.
you'll figure out when you're networking a lot and you're doing business and connecting who the people that are reciprocal are, right?
Yeah.
They'll give back. They want to be in your life. They see the value you provide. You'll see the fly by night people or who are just greedy and out for themselves. And then now I'm lucky to identify that trait right away. Say it was nice talking to you, but I'm gonna throw this business card in the garbage the second I walk out of here. So
I throw it a term a mutual friend has said, and she's been on the podcast. She calls it suitcase sellers.
okay.
Someone's like, "What's a suitcase seller?" And I'm like, "I think it's kind of evident."
It's my toothbrushes. Here's my watches. So
Now it just brings me trains, planes, and automobiles reselling the what do you call it? The bathroom rings out of his
is out of his
out of his trunk, right out of the suitcase.
it's like Coming to America when he's got like the gold toothbrushes in his thing. Like those are mine.
So, John, how can people connect with you, and what can our community kind of do to kind of help you keeping the needle moving for you?
Yeah, well, on my cell phone, anybody can connect me by mobile always. I have my email. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Bravo's got a website. We have a phone number there. There's a million ways. If you look up John Kassa, you'll find me on some sort of platform somewhere.
Okay, cool. And how can we help you? How can our community help you out?
Honest, just introductions to good people for business or connection is always what I'm looking for. Maybe there's an organization I'm not familiar with. That's great. Someone that needs my services for credit card processing, or maybe there's just a good person out there to connect with that I don't know.
Awesome.
So
John, we appreciate it.
thank you, Brad. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate everything.
Thank you for jumping on. Really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, you've made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Make sure you subscribe to the Cashflow Chronicles Open Forum newsletter, drop us a like, and follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube.